Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. This is KTN Newsdesk. We have a packed bulletin with updates from across the country. My name is Ian Wafula. Welcome to the program. National and county governments have revoked licenses of all second-generation liquor retailers. This comes only a day after President Kenyatta's directive yesterday to authorities in central Kenya to eliminate the illicit brew menace. And as the president talked tough, in a small village in Gatanga, drunkards were rallied up and forcefully sent into rehabilitation. The baraza included all members of the community, with women encouraging to bring their husbands and sons to the meeting. Asha Mwilu now reports.
Kusema ati huyu mtu akona license. Hakuna mtu akona license ya kuua wenzake.
President Uhuru Kenyatta visibly wound up over the rate of alcoholism in central region.
Kila mtu akuje na list ya kila what you have done in your respective constituency because you are the leader.
With a radical directive to end the menace for once and for good, the president met leaders of central Kenya at State House. But for some families, the directive comes a little too late. As the meeting continued in Nairobi, residents of Kiunyu village in Gatanga constituency were taking matters to their own hands. The well-known drunkards in the area had been identified in a list of shame. Their wives assembled in this baraza, desperate to get help for their men. The meeting was urgent. The drunkards were given no time to nurse their hangovers. Desperately, they tried to prove that the drink didn't control them. But the residents here would have none of it. It had to be done. At the baraza, the women sat quietly as rehabilitation officers tried to get the men to settle down. But in some moments, the frustration got the better of them. This lady having to slap her son to get him to cooperate. It was not an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Everyone in the village wanted to be a part of the process. But even with the tough love, the men here knew they needed the help.
Hawakunipeleka secondary. Mimi nilifanya mpaka study 8. Na ndio kwa maana wanionanga huku. Zaidi unasemekana huku tunakunyanga pombe kila mara kila wakati. Lakini sio kupenda kwangu. Naweza jisulu, naachana na pombe, naweza taka hii pombe hapa kwa mtaa ise, ndio tukue tunakaa kama watu wanaeleweka.
Nataka kusaidiwa hiyo pombe iachane na hiyo tuendelee na makazi yetu. Ile mtu anajua.
Ni maisha kuwa mzito na kuwa na stress nyingi, hakuna kazi na mambo kama hayo.
The stories are all similar. Unemployment, lack of options, sending young men into the devastating drink. Their women having to take up the role of the breadwinner. But for this village, residents say they will no longer sit back and watch. Alcoholics here now have only two options: to go to the rehabilitation center or to vacate the village. Asha Mwilu, KTN.
Of course, that story continues to raise a lot of reactions, and President Uhuru Kenyatta's directive has largely been welcome, especially in central Kenya, where a majority of the women have been complaining about the poor underperformance in terms of the men and sons who have for days been consumed by alcoholism and are not even productive. And this, we've also seen that it has led to, cases of domestic violence, where in Nyeri, women are taking matters into their own hands to punish the men. Let us just go to another story where the national government, together with the county government, have suspended all second-generation alcoholic beverages licenses until the interagency team carries out a nationwide inspection of premises and analysis of alcoholic products to ensure that they meet the Bureau of Standards KEBS. Quality Interior Cabinet Secretary says an officer who is found colluding with the manufacturers, including assistant chiefs, will lose their jobs.
The two levels of government have agreed to immediately suspend all second-generation alcoholic beverage licenses until an interagency team carries out a nationwide inspection of premises and analysis of alcoholic products to ensure that they meet Kenya Bureau of Standards quality standards.
We demand that all county security committees led by the county commissioner and county police commanders. The GSU commander is just a supervisor for the operation in Central for the 4 days only. But now this message is sent to all government institutions, and of course the county government also will get this message in terms of licensing because of the suspension of the second generation.
A manufacturer of alcohol must have a laboratory, must employ qualified people, must understand what the standards say. We went further because we know that the key problem is methanol. We went further to revise the standard on methanol, and we made it mandatory that anybody importing methanol into the country must denature that methanol. What it basically means is that you add an additive which makes it difficult for manufacturers of alcohol to use it to manufacture alcohol.
And still on the same, we cross over to our city center where Sharon Momanyi is on standby. I understand she's just arrived from Kiambu, where authorities have raided local pubs. Sharon, if you can describe how Kiambu was it as dramatic as we have seen in Gatanga?
Yes, Ian, we just have returned from Kiambu County where we spoke to residents in Ekino Center and Githunguri Town. We went there just to speak to residents to find out their reactions to the directive by the president yesterday. We remember that President Uhuru Kenyatta directed local leaders to help in the fight of curbing alcoholism, particularly in central areas, and he had a meeting with this MPs and leaders from the areas, telling them to lead and spearhead the fight in their areas. And so in Githunguri Town, the residents were particularly receptive of this directive, saying that alcoholism has really robbed them of their husbands and their sons. Particularly, we spoke to many women who say that this menace has seen their families really run down, and they have had to take over responsibilities of their men in the house. So they really are receptive of this mood. And by 7 a.m. they tell us that some of the dens that usually brew some of this illicit brews were closed in anticipation of this raid. Now the president directed that these dens and shops selling illicit liquor as well as second-generation drinks to be closed down. And it is a move that has been received well. And I have to point out that we spoke to particularly one woman called Joyce Njeri, who is a 63-year-old woman, and says she has 4 sons, all of whom are alcoholics, she says, and she has had to take care of them and their children. And she says that she's just representative of many women who face this kind of menace in their homes, and so very receptive of this directive. Remember that President Uhuru directed for a 4-day campaign starting tomorrow through to Monday, where they will see the raiding of these dens. So we'll keep our eyes on the ground to see how this goes particularly, and we'll give you a comprehensive story of what we found out on the ground in the subsequent bulletins, Ian.
Thank you very much. Maybe, Sharon, before I let you go, since you were there, were you able to establish perhaps why the youth and the men are generally getting into alcoholism? Well, we understand there's a problem with the link there. In Eldoret, authorities are acting fast to counter the illegal brew menace. They raided and shut down illegal brew dens. Our reporter Marcy Kandie is keeping on this development, and she joins us live from Eldoret. Kandie, how has the perception and the reception of this directive by the president been in Eldoret generally?
Yes, thank you, Ian. After the president's directive, Eldoret County, Uasin Gishu County today morning, there has been several raids. There has been a shutdown about 8 bars. But this, however, has been happening before. Remember, Ian, last year when some deaths were reported in Central, and a week later, Uasin Gishu and Nandi counties lost about 28 lives. Then action has been taken within Uasin Gishu County. And to just give us a brief of what has been happening in this county is Armstrong Rono, who's the director of the County Alcoholic Controls Board. Thank you, Armstrong, for joining us. So, after the president's directive, what has happened today? We've seen some of the hotels, restaurants and bars that were selling alcohol being shut down. You were the man in charge. Tell us what happened.
Really, we've been carrying out the crackdowns since for the last 2 weeks, including yesterday. And today we were able to shut down eight bars in Eldoret town, including a supermarket that has been selling. They don't have a license, so we've actually arrested 110 this morning in Eldoret CBD, and the president's directive is actually long overdue. We are happy that he has issued such a directive, so that we can have a common direction when it comes to the issue of controlling alcohol and drug abuse in the country. So in Uasin Gishu County, we've been carrying out crackdowns, and we're succeeding. We have seen at least people are sobering up, and what we want to do is we are carrying out surveillance. We're carrying out surveillance with in collaboration with the County Commissioner's Office and the police. And moving forward, these crackdowns are going to continue until we are able to control the issue of, especially of illicit alcohol in our county.
Armstrong, speaking of the continuing of the crackdowns happening here, some of the residents we talked to are complaining that this is the shutting down of businesses. You know, the people who sell probably mandazi, samosas outside of the bars that you have shut down. They're asking, isn't there a better way of doing this? What's your answer to those particular residents in the county?
Actually, public health or public interest supersedes private interest. These are business people who have no concern about the health and the welfare of the Mwananchi. So what we are concerned is the welfare of the youth and the children. As you could see in the morning, the people who we arrested are very young people, university students. So they don't go to college, and even including the supermarket that we raided, they sell. They disregard the age concerns, etc. So what we are concerned is the welfare of the common Mwananchi. And you see, we are also we are also doing surveillance on the issue of second generation, which is very dangerous, and it's killing our people. And we need to be proactive. We don't have to wait until people die. As you said, you said earlier, we lost people last year, 28 people in this region. We cannot wait until people die for us to start acting. We've been proactive in Uasin Gishu County as a county government, and we are going to continue with these crackdowns. And I believe, of course, we have other interventions. We are rehabilitating the brewers, okay? We are rehabilitating the brewers, including the addicts. So moving forward, I believe that we are going to see a sober county.
A sober county indeed. And last year, if I might take you backwards, as we wind up, among the deaths of the 28 in especially Uasin Gishu County were university students, as you've mentioned, the ones who are also buying university students. What can you tell them? What's your message to these young ones who probably disregard even and trying to go to those ones who will sell to them even at their age and not asking for identity cards? What is your message to this young generation?
My message is that they should engage themselves in healthy recreational activities. You don't have to drink to entertain yourself. There are other ways of entertaining yourself other than drinking. And one thing I want to inform you or inform Mwananchi is that we are closing down all bars that are near the universities. We are closing down the bus near Annex, the School of Law. We are closing down the bus near Moi University, Talai Center, including Sogomo near University of Eldoret. So that one, moving forward, in the next few days, it will be a thing of the past. We need to protect our youth. They need to learn to go to school, and we have at least a future generation. Because if the trend continued, then we're going to lose a very, very energetic, we're going to lose a generation actually to alcohol. Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. That joining us live here in Eldoret is Armstrong Rono, who's the Uasin Gishu County Alcoholic Drinks Control Board. Thank you for your time. Who says that what they want is a sober county. Back to you, Ian, in Nairobi.
Thank you very much for that, Kandia. Clearly, alcoholism continues to take the lives of very many Kenyans who would have been productive otherwise. Well, let's just move away from that story. And the security has been enhanced at the Kenya Ports Authority premises in Mombasa as the workers go slow over the new NHIF rates that entered the second day. Operations have been paralyzed at the port as long queues of trucks remain parked at the port waiting to be attended to. The over 5,000 workers under the umbrella body of the Dock Workers Union want the government to review the new NHIF rates, which they claim are exorbitant. KTN's Francis Otoma has been following these events and now joins us for the very latest. Otoma?
It is barely hours into the go-slow here at the Mombasa port, and already the effects are starting to clearly show up. Normally, this is a very busy zone. We normally see activities happening here. The cranes should have been moving at this time of the day.
Komo inaendelea Kenya nzima, si bandarini peke yake. Otherwise, sisi hatuna neno. Sisi hapa kama security officer ni kuendeleza usalama na suia sije watu wakaenda wakafanya uhalifu, mambo mabaya, kwa sababu ukiangalia kule ndani hakuna mashine ambayo inafanya kazi. So tukimruhusu hawa watu waingie kule ndani, maybe wanaweza kufanya mambo mengine ambaye kuna hizo masanduku za container pale, kuna mali za watu. So hatutaruhusu mpaka tupate kibali maalum.
This, in the bigger picture, will have far-reaching implications not only with the economy of Mombasa here, but also the economy of the entire country and other countries that normally use the Mombasa port.
Hata tukiwaruhusu kwa wakati huu, hawatafanya lolote kwa sababu machine zetu haifanyi kazi. Watu wote wako katika kwa mkomo.
Up till now, it is not clear for how long this will take. The Dock Workers Union insists that they have to have a sit-down with the government to be able to negotiate the NHIF rates, which of course are the bone of contention why we're having this kind of stalemate. We'll be of course staying on this story to update you on what happens.
Thank you for that update. President Uhuru Kenyatta has been voted Africa's President of the Year 2014-2015 for his outstanding leadership. Kenyatta was picked for the prestigious Africa Education and Leadership Awards for his ability to build consensus locally and abroad, efforts to change policy for the better, and supervise solutions that address Kenya's pressing issues. Thousands of university students from across hundreds of institutions of higher learning in the continent also recognized President Kenyatta for initiating progressive economic programs aimed at uplifting the lives of Kenyans. The students, who are members of the All Africa Students Union, presented the president with an award which, among other things, celebrates outstanding leadership and educational excellence. The union is based in Accra, and the union student leaders drawn from 12 local universities presented the award to President at the State House, Nairobi. They were accompanied by Education Cabinet Secretary Jacob Kemenyi, PS Belio Kipsang, and a team from the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. President Paul Kagame of Rwanda is a previous recipient of the award. Let's move on now to growing concern of youth radicalization by terrorist groups. This time, security chiefs are worried that the radical groups are targeting young men and women in Western Kenya. Security bosses in Kakamega arrested terror suspects last weekend and are now warning that radicalization is a present threat even in the most unexpected regions of the country.
Continues to be concern over insecurity in the western region. Just yesterday, the regional security coordinator, Jasper Ombati, met security chiefs from the 4 counties.
We met because we want to harmonize our operations there are areas that we have realized are very much affected in terms of crime, like Bungoma, specifically Chwele, Cheptais, and the other areas. We also have a particular crime that is also peaking, for example, the issue of motorbike robberies, where riders are killed, yeah, or seriously injured, and thereafter they are robbed off.
Sunday in Kakamega at Makaburini Estate, which is an informal settlement, 6 males were arrested by the police. This was after the members of the public gave the police a tip-off that the males were involved in a militia group. The 6 were presented at the Chief Magistrate's Court on Monday. We've been able to see the affidavit sworn by the investigating officer, where he requested for 7 days to investigate the matter.
These are the people where we are not so sure. We have not made a good breakthrough to the extent of their involvement. So once we have such a class of people, then these are the people now who will do some follow-up, yeah? Some of them may be advised even to be reporting, yeah, to the police station, so that at least we do a proper follow-up on what they are doing and what activities they are involved in.
It's now up to the prosecution to build a strong case against the arrested, after which, if there's no case, they will be released. This incident has also questioned how soft a spot Western Kenya is when it comes to terrorism. There are those who believe that this area is not one, and that terror activities could not happen here. Security chiefs say that this is a very detrimental belief.
This is an eye-opener that all Kenyans must change now from the way we used to appreciate, recognize, and see people. I'm not saying that you treat...
Well, we are taking a short commercial break. When we come back, we shall be giving you updates such as the arrest of activist Boniface Mwangi yesterday, among many others. Don't go too far. Well, that story marks the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Our Twitter handle is at KTN Kenya. We do wish to know what's happening around you so that we inform the rest of the country. For now, however, enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Ian Wafula.